Hello, hello. So today we are going to explore uh, RAG, right? The whole AI thing called RAG. What is RAG, right? So let's look at here. It's Retrieval Augmented Generation. So the idea here, very straight up is usually when you query any LLM, it gives you a response, right? But then sometimes you have your own data on which you want the response to be based on. That's what RAG is, right? So let's say you have some data stored in your database, you wanted to reference that. So by having this piece, right, your data in between, the LLM will reference that. The prompt will obviously parse and do whatever it needs to do, the English part of it. Understand that okay, it wants to hit the database, take data, get the context from the database, right, or the contents and the context, and then it uses processes it rather, and then throws a response to you, right? And again, it's very straight up, simple language. I'm avoiding any technical uh, language. So I have already done this, but we'll start fresh, don't worry. So the first thing we have to do actually, whenever you want to do this, and this piece actually won't work, writing part and whatever. So just wanted to highlight that. So you have to go to the settings page of your workspace, okay? And somewhere it said that you need to, where was I now? Okay, there you go. So in previews, okay. So if you go to previews here, somewhere you have preview. Where is preview? Let's see. Developer, where was I? In the accounts, you don't have it. Oh, sorry. Here, you go to previews here. Sorry, my bad. The previews, and there is something called as AI. So let me just search for it. Okay, and here it will say to prep search, you have to turn it on, right? So this is very important. You can see here what does this function do? I think this is the function I'm using here somewhere. AI prep search. There you go. So what does it do, right? I mean, the whole point of showing you this was it enables you to transform whatever you have parsed, into a format that's optimized for vector search. If you don't do this, if you don't turn this on, then this piece will always throw an error to you. Okay, not here when you write, because as you know, these are lazy evaluations, right? So when you write something or display, it throws an error to you. It has done it for me. So here, so whatever you do, you go to your username here and go to previews. Okay, in previews, just search for prep, maybe. Oh, there you go, and turn this on before we even start anything. All right. Okay, so what we have done. So what I have done here is I got some Google quarterly results, right? The earnings PDF saved in my volumes here. Okay, as you can see here, this is where I have it. Okay, this is where it is. Okay, so here and I also have it here. Okay, so this is what I'm referencing here. Okay, sales data and then this document. It's a PDF document. So interestingly, if you use PDF, JPG, and stuff that's not your regular tabular format, then you need to read it via your binary file. Okay, so this piece of code is pretty much saying, "Hey, read it for me." Okay, of course you can call it whatever. I just call it data frame every time, right? So I have called this as data frame. So, and then you pretty much do two things to it. You first parse your data. So you have a long PDF, right? Usually these documents are pretty long. So you first have to make sure it's able to read the document itself. So you parse it in a text format, right? So this is what AI parse does. If I go here and it says, see, it has its own function. So basically, structured content from unstructured documents. Okay, Basically, that's what it does, right? So that's the whole idea, a PDF, anything like that, right? And of course, there are a lot of other arguments. We are keeping it very, very simple here. Pretty much it takes your page numbers, footers, headers, tables, everything, right? And tries to make sure it extracts everything into a nice way. All right. A machine ready in a better way, right? So that's what this does. And then once you do this, then you have to chunk your data, right? So if you think about it, you read the data, okay, you parse it, and then now it's a huge string. So what do you do with that? You need to make sure that it's available for the vector indexing and all that, right? So you use this AI prep search, right? Which I think I already was talking about in the preview, but we can do it here again. It doesn't matter. Okay, I use Azure, so I'll try to keep it to Azure. It's in beta, right? So you can see here it's optimized for RAG vector search and information retrieval for each input document into semantic chunks. Of course, again, there are a lot of other arguments and stuff like this. I am avoiding it. You can see here. So let's keeping it again very straightforward for us. So that's what I'm done here. I'm just processing that PDF so that machine is able to read it, right? And then what do I do here? This piece is the key. So I do a join, okay, with what? So this is a variant data type. So again, a lot of new words here, variant data type in Databricks. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this. So you have uh, the new type, data type, like you have integers, strings. There is something called as variant. So it's pretty much semi-structured data, right? So the type supports storing semi-structured object array scalar to store this, right? So pretty much see here is the example, right? So you can select this and now it becomes something like this, right? So here, so you select cast as variant. You parse the JSON null, then you parse the JSON 123. But then if to variant object you map the key value, it becomes a nice dictionary, right? You can also create a structured field out of it. You can do a lot of things, right? So it's a very flexible stuff, which I think is required for the use case of AI, right? We need something more flexible in nature. That's why they use variant. So what we're trying to do is we obviously chunked our data using this. Now we have a column called search chunks, which we are using, and we're only getting what we need. We want the contents of it in the variant format, right? So that's what we are doing here. We're trying to get the contents of that chunk, right? And then what we're doing is we are again exploding it now in the con. So this, I think this piece is incorrect, right? Again, I don't edit my videos uh, to show you the mistake. So join does not work. It's a lateral join that works. Okay, so now if I show you lateral join Databricks, right? What's a lateral join? It's an interesting concept. So lateral join, basically you join a lateral join is a type of join where each row is used as an input to a subquery that computes to a result specific to that row. So what we see when you're exploding something, that means you will have now multiple rows for that same record, right? Make sense? So now you want to join that one row from your left side to multiple rows after exploding. So that's what this does, right? You do a lateral join for that. Okay? That's what this is doing. You explode it, and obviously you have to use table value functions because this is pretty new stuff. Only works on serverless for me somehow. So just wanted to show you this. Okay. So I'm doing this one we can ignore. So this if you do does not really help you. This is what is the key aspect. Okay. And then once you explode it, you get all the stuff you want. So you get the path from it, right? Then you get the chunk ID, the chunk to embed, chunk to retrieve, right? Basically from the contents, you're just trying to do stuff like that. Okay. Nothing, again, nothing fancy, very straightforward things here. And then you want to write it. So this is kind of a key here, and that's because um, let's say you update. your documents or whatever, it will always take care of the latest vector index by doing this, right? Again, nothing fancy here. So I'm just writing this data here, okay? And mm, someone from, who is me, I always want to see my chunks and everything. So you can see here, right? So if you see a chunks to retrieve, chunks to embed, chunk ID. So you see here, I'm saying my chunk ID, every chunk has a different ID, and this is the chunk. It looks like this. Okay, literally, it's breaking down your document. I mean, it seems very fancy to use AI prep search and stuff like this. Behind the scenes, it is obviously complex and stuff, but for a user like you and me, it's straight up, nothing fancy. So, and then once you do this, okay, now you have your chunk data. Okay, but this is just a table. Now, if I go here, this is again just a table. You can't use this table as is. Okay, you have to create a vector index. So what you do here, so if I go to compute, okay, and okay, and you come here, okay, so 1 minute. So once you actually, yeah, one thing I want to highlight, once you do this, Databricks does recognize this is something the guy is doing to do with RAG. So this will show up here already. Okay, you don't have to change anything here. Okay, you can see here it's as is. Obviously, I created the index here. So like this. So you go here and then you write your name, whatever your name is. I have my own name. You say chunk ID. So let's say chunk ID, right? Uh, okay. And then your embedding. So I did not change anything. I did not change this also. And I just said create. Okay. And this is what was created to me. This is what gets created. All right. So once you create an index, it'll show up here. Again, let me take a step back because this can get a little complex. So you say, where do you want to store? So I called it something right here. So if I go back to my catalog, it stores it here, right? Oh, 1 minute. Catalog. And no, AI business here right now. Yeah, there you go. So it stores it here. Okay. So that's what we are doing. That's so far, the only things you have to worry about. Okay. Now, what do you do? Now you have an index, so now you're ready to query it. But then, how do you query it? So you go to Playground, okay, and here you select your model. So here I kept it as this model. It's pretty cheap, that's why. And that's a demo. So use model, and now you need to add your own tool. So now you can say, I want to use my AI search, and this is my index. That's it. You save it, and in your system prompts, the key is you have to say you have a tool at your disposal. You can, I'm just writing it something that's on top of my head. You can obviously rephrase the English part of it. Uh, you can say it is a MCP server for for vector search. You can also say no. You can say uh, this is the tool. Use this when user is querying, right? For querying, not queuing. I don't know why. Querying for Google's result, right? Anything. Okay. Let's try this. I tried it the other day. It worked. AI being AI, sometimes it just refuses to work. So hey, what's the um, quarterly earnings of Google for Q1, or if you even have history, if you even have history, uh, give me the trend. Let's try this. I'm not sure what the response because I have given the system that you have a tool. Let's see if it. Ah, so there you go. See, I need to search for the Google's quarterly earning trends. A vector search allows me to find the documents. Here you go. So it says I'm going to use this. There you go. See? So based on the provided documents, here is the summary of Google financials. It says total revenues. Give me in a chart format, maybe. I don't know. This is too much to read for me, especially. And it's okay if I use a couple of tokens here. There you go. Okay, there you go. Table format, not bad. So 90, 109, and 22%. There you go. So that's all. As you see, creating a RAG in Databricks is pretty straightforward. It has a lot of inbuilt functions that you can use. Now, can you use it at scale? I'm not sure if you can because this is a single document. I was just trying to show how easy it is to set up a RAG. It's in a few minutes you can do it, right? Again, let me just walk over the important things. First things first, you go to preview, okay? You hit the preview here in your workspace. You won't find this in your accounts. I tried doing that, okay? In your preview, you search for prep or AI or something. You have to turn this on, otherwise this whole thing won't work, okay? It will fail in your save method. First thing, you read it, you parse it, you chunk it, you save it, create an index out of it by going to the compute area, as you can see here. This will already be for you. So if you go to AI search, this will already be there. You just have to click on this. This will be empty the first time. You just have to go create your index. Obviously, you want to use this data. You create an index, call it whatever you want to. Make sure it's reasonably named. Have the chunk ID as the primary key and just go for it. Create. Let's not get too fancy the first try. And once you do this, you see this piece here, you are ready to query it. So then you go to the playground, right? Select your whatever you need to. I select this because it's the cheapest one. And add the tool. That's more important. Always in the MCP server, in the AI search, you will have this. Confirm and save. And now add the system prompt. That's the key. Okay. If I just say what was Google's, let's say, I don't have a system prompt by the way right now, right? So what was Google's quarterly earnings? Okay. Let's see. I doubt it should give me a response because the system does not know. There you go. Right? The available tool is there. Okay. Now same thing if I add use the tool whenever user is asking for Google's quarterly earnings. Okay. Now if I say here copy, oops, sorry. There you go. Save. And now if I go and click on this, this should hopefully work. Again, I always say hopefully because I have played with this few times and sometimes it was random, right? So here we go. See, all right. That was it for this video. Hope you guys liked it. I did enjoy learning it. So yeah, bye bye.